Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're going to cut straight into the meat of the judicial system and the investigation process. We're going to speak about arrest warrants. Now, I was 19 years old in 1999 when I first caught this case. I knew absolutely nothing about the law. When I say nothing, I mean you ask for an attorney and they're supposed to give you one, and then that's just that. You go through the process. But I didn't know anything about an arrest warrant. I walked 16 years off before I truly learned how powerful the document of an arrest warrant is. So initially, when I found out that there was a warrant for my arrest issued, I was in the state of Oklahoma. I found out through a phone call that there was a warrant for my arrest issued. I had absolutely no knowledge of the law of what to do. So when I did go to court, I didn't have an attorney to represent me to explain the ramifications of just signing my extradition and flying back to California. While I'm sitting in the Sacramento County Jail, and I learned this about my arrest warrant, and I'm getting these documents from the law library, and I'm educating myself on it. There were a few guys in my pod that one was actually extradited from Ohio, and I was extradited from Oklahoma, and his warrant wasn't signed either. The difference is the Sacramento Police Department detectives came to extradite me back, and the U.S. Marshals extradited him back. If you're out of state and for whatever odd reason you have a warrant for your arrest coming from another state, you have the right to fight your case from that state. I didn't know that. I was 19 years old. I thought it was go straight in, sign the papers for extradition, get back to California, and that's that with that, and we get the process going. But that's a defensive strategy because it gives you an opportunity to see everything that they have. You get to see the arrest warrant. In my case, come to find out, my arresting officers arrested me and they never once saw my arrest warrant. Not one time. They were just told that the arrest warrant was there, but they never saw it. They also told me that had they known that my arrest warrant was not signed, they would have never arrested me. But had I known that my arrest warrant was not signed and that everything wasn't tied down as the state, the city of Sacramento made it out to be, I would have fought my case from Oklahoma. I would have forced them to show the governor of Oklahoma that, hey, look, this case does not stand on the legs that they say that it does. But this is all in the process of being 19 years old, being uneducated in law. What I like for everybody to do is just really pay attention to your arrest warrant. I don't care if you don't have nothing else in your hands when you go to jail and you are arrested, stating that they have a warrant for your arrest. You need to have them give you a copy of your arrest warrant and start building your own case, your own defense from those documents that they give you. I had an attorney my first time around. He wasn't worth his weight in dirt. I can sit here and tell you all the details, but it's not even important. What's important is knowing your case, knowing the direction that your case can go. You have to even understand the fact of knowing the law to a certain extent where there are motions that can be filed even by you, per se, going pro per. I went pro per a few times. I went pro per in order to address the court stating that the attorney I had been given was ineffective. The counsel representation process is rough. I had 4 or 5 different attorneys. And it's a rough process. Getting someone to actually listen to you, to understand that you know that case better than they do, but they know the law aspect. The problem is a lot of people get attorneys and they turn around and they're like, oh, I don't have nothing to worry about. My attorney got this. He just told me he's going to file these motions, and then you turn around, get in court, and the guy's tight-lipped. It's an opportunity for you to fight for yourself like it's nobody's business. If your attorney is or not doing his or her job, it's time for you to stand up in court and speak. and not disrespectfully either in front of the judge. There are some judges that actually care about defendants having a fair trial, and then there are some that, well, will not. But for the most part, be respectful, not only to the court, but be respectful to yourself, because you are representation, and the way that you conduct yourself is going to have a judge look at you in a particular manner to where if they will give you the justification into giving you a new trial attorney to thoroughly look over the case, investigate, or to give you a shot at even speaking in his or her courtroom. So for the most part, I want everyone to zero in on looking at their arrest warrant. Look at the case summary. See if the case summary matches the police report. See if the police report matches the transcripts. And if they don't, it's time to point that out to the attorney. Now, you're sure asking, well, what if the attorney isn't listening? There are ways for an attorney to actually listen. But like I said, you have to be respectful to yourself and to the courtroom when you do it. So the importance of educating yourself about your own case, knowing it inside out, front to back, back to front, is because, look at my case. I end up having to represent myself for a few years in order to get to the federal courts to be given an attorney, Eric Weaver, who I had for 10 years. And in the beginning, me and Eric, we butted heads, I tell you. But there were things that I showed him. I knew my case inside out. I'm leading him in the directions where he didn't even think the case would actually go. Knowing your case, knowing what everyone did within the realms of your case helps. It doesn't just help you, it helps your attorney in a position to better fight for you. In the end, you're the one that's going to be fighting your case. You're going to be the one that if you lose, guess what? You are going to prison. And you can blame everybody under the sun. But if you are uneducated in knowing about your case, knowing the way that it could have taken a different turn had you known about these type of elements before, you maybe could have prevented them by whispering in your attorney's ear during trial or even prelim and possibly getting the case thrown, which I doubt. But know your case and don't assume that an attorney is going to fight for you how you would fight for yourself.